Your mental health matters at the end of the day. Your mental health matters. Nowadays, it's kind of hard for ask people for their mental health. But if you really care about somebody, if you really care about somebody, always ask about their mental health. Nowadays, because it's June, so mental health is a mental health awareness enough for us men because our mental health really matters. Everybody, long story short, everybody's mental health matters at the end of the day. And nowadays, it's like a lot of people don't ask about it. It should be known, but that's how you can really tell that people don't really care about mental health because they might see a person doing good, but behind closed doors, they're not. You know, that's why it's like the saying on TikTok is that on this TikTok audio is that I think it goes like I would never walk on your in your shoes. You would never walk on mine. That really hits me at the end of the day. That really hits me to this day. And one thing about it is that if I care about somebody, I'm always gonna ask for their mental health. I'm gonna always ask how they're doing. Not just hey how you're doing, because people hide it. Sometimes people are really good at hiding how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they're not. Sometimes we can as people we can see through it, and they be like, yeah, something's not up. Something's definitely not up. So it's always good to ask about somebody's mental health because you never know when somebody's going through. That's why your mental health, I'm pointing at you. That's why your mental health matters. And, you know, it should be known. It really should be taken serious. That's why it's like social media really ruined everything. Like the society we're really living in, it kind of ruined everything because nine times out of ten, people just don't ask about it. People don't really ask about your mental health, and it really should matter. You know, even loved ones and sometimes people that care about you don't really ask it 24/7. You know, that's why it's like sometimes when I look at it, social media really destroyed everything. That's why sometimes even though I make my money, I know I'm getting a little off track, but even though I make my money on social media, sometimes people will usually start recording themselves crying. And it shouldn't really be like that, man. It really shouldn't be like that. And that's another thing too, because social media really destroyed everything. Because when you on social media, right? Sometimes on social media you'll see somebody crying. It usually be a cry for help. It's not because they're seeking attention, because a lot of people that be on the internet are evil. Like you really live in that evil world nowadays, and you really gotta be mindful of what you put out there on social media. You really gotta be mindful what you put out there on social media, because not 9 times out of 10 people just will see it, either make fun of you, either send it to their friends, even troll in the comments, or either just don't give a frick about it. And that's really the harsh reality. That's really known. So it's like I will never. One thing about me is that I'm a man, and I will never go on social media and cry. You know what I'm saying? Cough, you know what I'm saying? First of all, personally, me, just a personal thing. I don't really talk to a therapist about my problems. Like I used to have a therapist, but now times out of ten, therapists are just there for that. They're just there for that, for the money. Nowadays, that's why it's always good to get your connection good with God, and that the stuff I'm saying to my mouth goes towards me too. You know, it goes towards me too. Like it's not that it doesn't take tomorrow. It takes a minute, to get your connection good with God. But once you got your connection good with God, you got it really close. then nothing is really gonna stop you. Nothing is not. It's not saying you're gonna be bulletproof, but not, 9 times out of 10, when you got a good connection with God, nothing's definitely is not gonna hurt you. Because and you're really gonna change once you get your connection good. You're definitely gonna change. You're definitely gonna see it. People might see it too as well, but you're definitely gonna change. So nowadays, man, it's like you always gotta ask people about their mental health, cause it matters nowadays. Cause you have people that commit suicide. You have people that commit suicide, and you just never know when somebody's time is up. That's why life is so short. You never know when somebody's time is up, man. You just never know. And and there and there is a good side and a bad side, because sometimes what people have at their lowest, sometimes they will take it out on people, and that's really, really not that. It's really not cool to even do that. To if you're going through something, it's good to take breaks. Definitely take breaks on social media. That's the first thing. Definitely take breaks on social media, because once you take breaks on social media, trust me, your life is definitely gonna change. Because personally, a guy like me, I take breaks on social media. You get what I'm saying? Even though I make money on there, but I take breaks on there. I would take breaks on there, because social media now, it's just really a lot of stuff changed on social media. Social media, a lot of times on social media, man, you'll see things that you really don't have to see, and sometimes some of that can make you really feel bad about yourself, where it's like you really don't have to see it. So at the same time, man, you just gotta focus on yourself. Always put yourself first. Always put yourself first. Like I was saying, sometimes it can really destroy you, man. Like sometimes on social media, when you be on social media too often, sometimes you will see things that you really don't have to see. And it's good to take breaks on there. It's definitely good to take breaks, because once you take breaks, man, you're gonna definitely be a change. You're really gonna change mentally, physically, spiritually. As long as you know when's the time to take a break. That's why sometimes on social media is really hard to destroy you. And it's good. You got your pros and your cons. You always got pros and cons when you do things in life. But at the same time, you just gotta really just take your time on it. Take your time and just definitely save your energy. Also protect your energy too, because you never know. You never know what somebody's going through. So at the same time, man, you just gotta, always ask about people's mental health. Always ask about your cared ones, about people that you care about their mental health, because you never know. Because somebody could just literally put on a mask. Somebody could literally just put on a mask, and you just never know until you know. And I'm not saying this. I'm not really saying this, but it's known. It's really sad to talk about it, but it's known. You just never know, because somebody can just commit suicide just like that, man. It's really known nowadays. So you always gotta just always have your guard up, but always have an ear to listen to. That's why you always got ears. Always have an ear to listen to, because you never know. You just never know nowadays. That's why life is so short, because nowadays, you know, people always commit suicide, and the highest is like I've seen it online where on the like where people commit suicide, their rate is like really really up, like it's skyrocketed. So it's like and it really does it really does to it really does determine on social media. It's like it's really a problem. It's usually social media. It's like a lot of this stuff starts at home. It always starts at home. So it's like you just gotta be careful, man, out here. Because it's real out here. It's real and it's written. It's really written. You really gotta be careful who you talk to, who you open up to, because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, if you really don't know that person, that's why it's not always good to open up with random people, and that's actually respecting. Sometimes people will look at you weird, but at the same time, you always gotta have your guard up, because you never know, because people will just make fun of you, man, and it's really sad. It's really sad that people will just make fun of you. They might not show it, but they're gonna make fun of you behind closed doors. That's why it's always good. That's why it's like, if I'm going through something, I'm just gonna pray. If I'm going through something, I'm gonna pray, and I'm definitely just gonna just go ghost. You know what I'm saying? So then, where I actually, when I feel better, when I feel better, then I can return to whatever I was doing. That makes me happy. That's why it's always good to work out. That's why it's always good to work out. It's always good to work out. It's always good just because working out, it's a stress reliever, and it can really help you. It helps with anxiety, and stress. So that's why it's like, for me, that's why I always work out. I always work out, and it's really good for your health. It's really good for your health. But not, nowadays people just don't know that. Like, it's really a superpower. Once you really start working out. Long story short, man, you just gotta. Your mental health matters. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough.